I'm coming on live with you today because I want to talk to you a little bit about building confidence and overcoming ego. I've done this via Zoom and it seems to be working. So I've learned something new this morning because I wanted to share my screen with you. So just bear with me whilst looks like I'm sharing my screen now. I'm just gonna, there we go. Yes, I'm loving this. I just can't see anybody if you're jumping on and asking questions. So I think I can flip back to this in a sec. So hold on, let me just put myself down here and let me hope that this is going to come up. And I'll get these slides up for you. Bear with me a second. And I should be able to click somewhere here. Oh, it's a bit slower. Here we go. Present. There we go. Happy days. Happy days. Okay. Welcome, ladies. I hope you're all having a lovely Sunday. So my name's Emma. I'm a confidence coach. I'm based in the UK. I wanted to come on and talk to you today a little bit about our confidence and ego, because I know this is something I still face to this day in my business, and I know it's something that we can all struggle with. So if your ego is at work within your business, your ego is something that makes you feel or makes you respond to things in predominantly the wrong way. So when your ego is at work, you feel very emotionally depleted. You can feel very stuck. You tend to compare yourself to others. Life doesn't always feel very joyful if your ego is at work. You sometimes feel ready to let go of the black and white, so of the yes and no. You want to explore it a little bit more. You can sometimes find yourself in very toxic relationships. So you can find yourself in sort of unfulfilling relationships and very toxic relationships. And you can sometimes find yourself connecting with people that tend to be a bit more difficult. So an example of this for me, when I first started out in coaching, which was quite a while back, I attended a seminar, and I remember going along to this seminar and I felt completely out of my depth, because I'd only just started out. I was looking at all these other coaches in what they were doing, and they seemed to have so much success. They just seemed to have everything right. They knew what they were doing. They had their systems in place. They were seeing success. Now, I was comparing the start of my journey, I suppose, to the sort of middle end of other people's journeys. Having said that, it was my ego that was talking. Rather than just giving myself patience and time, it was that need of approval, where you sort of feel that you need to be approved. You doubt your own abilities. You're constantly comparing yourself to other people. So it's so important that we can overcome that ego and build our confidence in the process. So that's why I want to talk you through these slides today. Confidence is all about us having faith in ourselves and our abilities, whereas our ego tends to operate out of self-interest. So like I say, your ego seeks approval. It can be a bit resistant to feedback. You tend to make up excuses as to why you haven't got to where you've got. And at the same time, it tends to assign motives where there isn't the need of any. So it could be a case that you may find yourself saying something like, oh, they've achieved that because of X. That person's achieved that because they've got all the money to put into their business, or that person's achieved that because they've got a lot more support around them. That tends to be your ego talking. So it's really important that we build our confidence and not our ego, because one over the other can either make or break your business. We're going to just go through these slides. Here we go. So confidence and high self-esteem help you accept yourself as you are. Do you have an inflated ego, or do you have healthy self-worth? We always want to be building our confidence and not feeding our ego. So a healthy self-esteem would tend to have these kind of examples. You'll filter out what people say. Whereas if you're feeding your ego, you fear what people have to say. A healthy self-esteem compares themselves to themselves. So you'd be looking at, okay, what have I achieved today compared to where I maybe was, a week, 2 weeks, 2 months ago. Whereas an ego tends to compare themselves to others. A healthy self-esteem wants to be themselves, whereas when you have a fairly big ego, you want to prove yourself all the time. You have that need to prove yourself. Healthy self-esteem wants to learn from everyone else, whereas a big ego believes they know everything. And a healthy self-esteem respects themselves and others, whereas a healthy ego craves respect from other people. So we're all victims of our own ego at times. And sometimes we are focused and we're taking the relevant action. Sometimes we aren't, and that's just part and parcel of it. So it's really important that we start focusing on building our self-esteem and not our ego. So building your confidence. How would it feel to be yourself in not only your life, but in your business too, instead of feeling the need to prove yourself all the time? And this is our ego talking. It's got that need to prove yourself all the time, that need to sort of make everyone believe that you're a certain way or that you've achieved a certain amount of success. There's 3 steps that I teach my clients when it comes to building confidence and overcoming the ego. This is specifically relatable to working on the ego. And that's the first step is living with intention. The second step is creating inspiring goals, and they need to be inspiring goals. If your goals don't inspire you enough, then you're not going to move forwards to achieve them, and creating a simple system in the process. And the third is celebrating your small wins. So how do we go about that? So step 1, what is living with intention? So it's easy to let life just happen, making a few plans and then drifting from one thing to the next in the hope that you get what you want. You haven't got to be a rocket scientist to understand that it doesn't work that way. Things don't just happen. We have to create a system. We have to take action. We have to move forward in the process. We can't just sit still. We can put it out to the universe, and I highly recommend us doing that, having a vision for what it is that you want. But then you have to decide what your goals are, and then you have to create a process, create a system in working towards achieving them. So it's about living with intention. So what is intentional living? We can get so caught up in what everyone else is doing and what other people want from us that we lose sight of the purpose of our own life. And this is our ego. We're getting so caught up in what everyone else is doing. We're seeing what everyone else has got. We're comparing ourselves to everyone else. We're asking ourselves the questions, why haven't we got that? Why haven't we achieved that yet? And this is us working from our ego. And we actually then start to lose sight of the purpose of our own life. So the definition of intentional is done on purpose or deliberate. So we're actually making a deliberate action to get to where it is that we want to go. So to live with intention is to take consistent, deliberate action and live a life on purpose. So how do we go about that? Well, with intention, we have purpose and direction. Without it, we tend to flounder around, never really getting anywhere. And I don't know if you've ever witnessed this. I know I've witnessed this at times in my career, in my business, where I'll make a to-do list of all the things that I want to do, and I tend to just flip from one thing to the next. There's never real intention as to go, right, this is what I want to do, and this is the reason why I want to go about doing it. So it's really important that we live with intention. And like I said before, increasing our confidence is going to shrink our ego, and this is how we go about it. So there's 3 little pointers or 4 little pointers that you can refer to when it comes to living intentionally. So make sure you've got a pen and pad, and it'd be a good idea to jot these down. So life is a series of choices. We can't always control the circumstances that we have going on around us, but we can control how we react and we respond to them. So when you catch yourself, notice how you respond to certain challenges. And if you don't like it, you don't like what you see, you have the ability to change it. Now, this can be as simplistic as if you're a mum like me and you've got children and your kids are playing up, or you've asked them 10,000 times to do something and they don't, and then you just tend to lose your rag and you start screaming. If you can catch yourself before you do that, because you don't like that response, you're able to change it because you've got clarity. You can see where you're starting to lose it. So then that starts to become intentional because you're making a decision to change before you actually catch yourself off guard and just reacting. So it's really good to notice yourself and catch yourself and see how you're responding to the challenges that are coming your way. Another tip is, what are your values? What feels good to you? In what environment do you thrive? What are your life rules? What will you tolerate and what won't you tolerate? So this is recommended by Jin Rohn, and I followed this a good couple of years back, and it completely changed everything for me because it really made me live a lot more intentionally, and definitely set my goals a lot more intentionally. And that was to create a statement or a philosophy for your life. And basically work in line with that. So whatever your statement for your life is, whatever it is that you want to achieve. So a short statement for mine would be helping other women believe that they're enough. One thing us women all struggle with is the fact that we don't feel that we're enough. We don't feel that we're worthy. And that stems from our childhood. But one thing I want to do is ensure that I help women to believe that they are enough. So that's part of my philosophy. That's part of my life statement. So then when it comes to the goals that I'm setting myself or the things that I want to achieve, if they're not in line with that statement, I can sort of dismiss them. I can put them on my not to do list because I'm not living intentionally. I'm not living in line with what feels right to me and what's in line with my own values, and my life rules. Tip number 4 would be, take a step back and audit your life and business. So what life are you currently living? Are you moving in the direction in which you want to go? See, sometimes we get just caught up, again, this isn't living intentionally, but we get caught up in just the process, the day-to-day stuff. We make a list of the things that we want to do, and then we just go about doing them. Well, are they actually moving the needle? Are they actually getting us closer to the bigger dream, the bigger picture? Are they getting us closer to where we want to go? We never really look back and audit. We're very good, us women, at keeping busy, and just doing stuff, getting stuff done. But is it moving the needle? Is it getting you closer to the bigger goal that you have for your business or the bigger goal that you have for your life? So it's really important to get clear on your values. Are they aligned with how you want your life and your business to be? And then finally, what are your personal needs? So what needs to happen in your life to make you feel good? Making progress is a big, big one. Actually moving forwards, like I say, moving the needle and getting to where it is that you want to go. It could be starting your day right. It could be letting go of all the rubbish and not holding on to it and feeling that guilt. It could be spending time with those that you love and that you care about. So all of these things are going to help you live intentionally. And that's step 1. Then we move on to step 2. And step 2 is creating inspiring goals. And that's the key word, making sure your goals are inspiring. They're in line with your values. If they're not, it's going to be really difficult to achieve them. And what we do is we create those goals, and then we make a simple system in enabling us to reach those goals. So we have our long-term goals and we have our short-term goals. Our long-term goals are, what are your dreams and your big goals? So what are the big, big dreams that you have in life? And then your short-term goals are, what are your daily goals that move you closer to your long-term goals? So that move you closer to the bigger picture, that move you closer to your dream. Now I've left a link. I put a link in the feed of this video. And there's an infographic that I created. It's 7 simple steps to sticking to your goals. It's so basic, but if you follow those 7 simple steps, you will stick to your goals. So if you want to download it, just click on the link. You can go through, you can put in your email address, and it will automatically be sent to you via email, and you can download it. But that's a great one to take a look at. And like I say, it will help you stick into your goals and ensure that you reach the success that you want. So creating those goals and what they look like, which we're going to go on to the next slide to take a look at that. So you write down the areas in which you wish to achieve your goals and build your confidence. So we're not just talking about business here. It's not just about business. We can be guns are blazing in our business and everything can be working really well. We can have all the confidence that we want in business, but we may not have confidence in our relationships. Or we can have all the confidence that we want in our relationships and our health, but we may not have the confidence we want in our business. So you want to think about the area in which you want to build your confidence, and dispel the ego. So you pick one of those areas. So let's talk, as we're in a business group, we're going to refer to business. You write down your goals for this area and how they'll build your confidence. So we're becoming intentional, becoming really, really clear on what we want that to look like. And then you make sure that those goals are realistic unachievable. So like I say, an example of that, say if an example of that was your health, say if around your health you wanted to have more self-care because you're all guns a-blazing in your business, you spend a lot of time in your business, working your business, you exercise frequently, but you're not very mindful, you don't look after yourself, you don't give yourself any time. So how do you stay on top of your mental health? That might be one of your goals. So that may be a case of, okay, my goal is to develop a morning routine, what I do when I get up in the morning, where I've got a bit of time for me. And it might just be 5 minutes of meditation in the morning and just sitting there and being mindful and just trying to, eliminate all of those thoughts that come in, or when they come in, just letting them go and just really being at peace with yourself. It may be something as simple as that. It could be a 30-minute walk every day that you want to partake in, a 30-minute walk every day that's just for you, and you go out on your own. And that's going to help you build your confidence and overcome your negative thinking, which is living intentional. And what you're doing by doing this is you're mapping out a system. You're keeping it really simple, and you're mapping out a system to the goals that you want to achieve, these real intentional, mindful goals that you have for yourself and for your life, and they're in line with what you value. Okay, and then step 3 is breaking that down. So you have these big goals, but when we're looking for the big goals and we don't see ourselves working towards them because we're always focusing on the bigger picture, we don't feel like we're achieving. We don't feel like we're progressing. So it's really important that you celebrate the small wins. And Tony Robbins, he always talks about, I don't know if any of you follow Tony Robbins, he always talks about the power of progress. He said, if you want to be happy, I can give it to you in one word, and that's progress. What you need to do to celebrate your small wins is break down your bigger goals into smaller, manageable milestones. And then you break down those smaller goals into processes and actions. So every small action is getting you closer to your big dream and the bigger goal. And then you can see yourself progressing. And it's so true, the power of progress. It's incredible, because when you see yourself achieving those small things, as you're going through that process and you're celebrating your small wins, a week down the line, a month down the line, a year down the line, you're actually creating the bigger dream. The bigger dream is starting to become your reality, because you're really breaking it down into such smaller milestones for what it is that you want to achieve. So we're going to recap. You're creating intentional goals. You're creating a very simple system, and then you're achieving them. You're building your confidence rather than feeding your ego. So step 1 is living with intention. Step 2 is creating inspiring goals and a simple system. And step 3 is celebrating your small wins. Now, confidence is all about being who you want to be without worrying about what other people think. And instead of proving yourself, it's about being yourself. We're all individual, and we all need to live in line with our truest values, because if you're not, especially in your business, if you're not living in line with your truest values and your business doesn't represent that, you're going to really struggle to build your business or build the business that you want. So it's super important that you live with intention, you set inspiring goals, and you celebrate your achievements, you celebrate your small wins. So if you're bored at looking at other people's lives and you really want to live intentionally, and you want to stop feeling envious of what other people have got, then you need to focus on these 3 things. I've got a workbook that I've created. It's a fantastic workbook, and it talks you through this step by step. It talks you through looking at what it is that you want, actually getting clear on what it is that you want, and getting clear on your goals. It talks you through how to create that, what that looks like for you. It then goes on to talk you through your superpowers. So where is it that you feel comfortable? Where is it that you love to be? What is it that you love to do? Because we can all create something, whatever business you're in, we can all create something in line with that, in line with our truest values and where we feel comfortable. And this workbook talks you through that so simplistically, it's unbelievable. So there's a link in the feed. So you can click on the link, you can enter your details, and you can download that workbook. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen and try and get back to the Facebook. No, I can't. So I can't actually see if there's any comments. So if anyone's got any comments, do feel free to leave a comment. I will come back to you. Have a lovely Sunday. I hope that's added some value to you, ladies, and I will catch up with you real soon. See you later. Take care.